Yo guys, what is going on? It's Luki here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going through 5 of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make in Modern Warfare. So yeah, I'm just going to be covering a bunch of mistakes that people make in this game. If you make any of these steps, then my biggest tip for you guys is to stop doing them immediately, or just listen to what I have to say. And trust me, after you watch this video, you guys will realize that you're probably doing some of these mistakes, and there's a lot of changes that you can make to just become a better player on this game. So if you guys do enjoy this video, or if it does help you in any way whatsoever, if you could drop a sub, that'd be absolutely amazing. I was looking at my analytics the other day, and apparently 90% of people who watch my videos are actually not subscribed to my channel, and only 10% of people who watch my videos are subscribed to the channel. So if you guys could just drop a sub, that would mean a lot to me. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. So the first mistake that people make in Modern Warfare is not changing your settings. Now, a lot of people, especially those new players, and especially kind of like the younger kind of players who don't really know a lot about the game, they forget that they can actually change the settings in the game. So all you gotta do to change settings is press the start button and then scroll over to settings. It's that simple. And personally, if it was me, the main little settings that I would be looking at is going to go ahead and be the sensitivity you are using and the kind of aim response curve you are using. Personally, for the aim response curve type, I would go ahead and put linear on. I do have a video up on my channel with best settings, or if you guys would like to, you guys can obviously just go ahead and search on YouTube best settings, and there are a ton of best setting videos on YouTube that you guys can go ahead and watch. But yeah, not changing settings is probably one of the biggest little mistakes that people make. So once again, if you haven't changed your settings yet, then go on to Call of Duty right this second and go ahead and change your settings. Some of the sensitivities that I recommend using is around about a 707 or an 88, and if you guys don't like the sensitivity that you are using, then I feel free to change it around as much as possible until you find a sensitivity that is good for you. Anyway, the next mistake, that people make is not sticking to the edge of the map. Now, not sticking to the edge of the map can be one of the biggest reasons that people die on this game. As you guys probably are aware, the middle of the map on every single map is going to be where the most enemies are, where the most action is going on, and where you're going to be able to get shot from pretty much every single angle. For example, right now I'm in the middle of the map. I could get shot from behind, from my left to my right, from in front. I could get shot from people sitting in windows. There are so many different angles and places that I could get shot from, and this is going to result in me dying a lot. So a big tip for you guys is to go ahead and stick to the edge of the map. And if you stick to the edge of the map, you guys are going to have one specific angle cut off. So for example, let's say you are on the left hand side of the map. Obviously, to the left of you will be the outside of the map, so no one is going to be there. So all you got to focus about is what's behind you and what is to your right and in front of you. So it's going to cut off one of those areas where you have to think about if there's going to be an enemy there, and there's just going to be less angles to get shot from, and also you're going to be getting into less gunfights where it's you against like 2 or 3 people. If you stick to the edge of the map, you'll come up against a lot of gunfights where it's you versus 1 person or maybe 2 people at the most, and obviously if you are coming up against 1 or 2 people, it's a lot easier to win those gunfights than when you are against like 5 people or something. As you can see right now, I am sticking to the edge of the map on this little clip, for example, and I just picked up a nice like 5 kills really quickly, and it's just really helpful. I really do recommend you guys giving this a go. The next one is going to be that people use streaks that are too high for them to actually go ahead and get. I see a lot of people on this game, and especially those beginner players, they're like, you know what, I'm going to stick on the highest streaks in the game, I'm going to stick on the Juggernaut, I'm going to stick on the Gunship, and they expect that they're going to get them all the time. But trust me, if I were you and I was a new player, I recommend sticking on realistic score streaks that are going to be easy to actually obtain. So for those newer players, I recommend always, no matter how you are, no matter how good you are, I always recommend you guys sticking on a UAV. UAV is one of the best score streaks in the game in my opinion, because you guys can actually go ahead and see where the enemies are when you get the UAV, and that's going to help you get even more kills. And yeah, but for beginner players, I recommend sticking on a UAV, then a care package, and then maybe something like a VTOL jet or something like that. For you medium kind of players, I recommend you guys sticking on a UAV and then maybe a VTOL jet and then whatever you want. And then for you good players, you guys can just feel free to stick on whatever score streaks you would like to. But I do recommend you guys not sticking on score streaks that are just like not obtainable. Stick on score streaks that you know you can actually get. Next up is going to be to not checking corners. A lot of people don't check corners. If you watch the gameplay carefully, when I know that like for example right now, when I walk around this corner, I aim down the sights. As you see there, as soon as I walked around that corner, the first thing I did was pre-aim. Pre-aiming and checking corners is a huge like thing about Call of Duty that you have to do, because obviously there's going to be a lot of campers in Call of Duty. Call of Duty is known for campers. Campers are everywhere, especially on this game. There are a lot of campers, so I do really recommend you guys simply checking corners. Now, this isn't going to take much time out of your day or whatever to just simply check a corner. Whenever you go around a corner that you know that an enemy could be, just check it. Simply pre-aim that corner and check the corner first. Or if you don't check the corner, you're going to end up running around that corner and there's going to be someone sitting in the corner with a 725, 27 claymores lying around them, and you're instantly going to die. So please check the corners, and trust me, you guys will be very grateful that you actually start checking corners. Anyway, the last one in today's video, the last mistake people make is not checking their minimap enough. Now, the minimap is one of the most helpful things in Call of Duty. It can show you where the objectives are, it can show you where your teammates are, and it can show you where the enemies are. Now, all of these are very helpful. For example, let's say maybe about 70% of the time I am looking, or maybe let's say 50-50, yeah, 50% of the time I'm looking at the minimap, and 50% of the time I am actually concentrating on what I'm doing. Every single like 5 seconds or so, I always just glance up at the minimap, I have a look at where everyone is, I have a look at my teammates are, and I have a look where those objectives are. Because let's say for example right now, what I would do is I would look in that minimap. As you can see, I have a UAV in the air, so I'm going to be able to see where the enemies are. This is going to give me a great idea where the enemies are, and also it's going to also allow me to see where my teammates are. Now, you might not think that seeing where your teammates are can be very helpful, but it can be very helpful in so many different ways. For example, let's say I was very weak. If you are weak, I recommend simply running back to your teammates, and then once you ran back to your teammates, obviously you can be safe and you can heal, and you're going to have your teammates to protect you. Right now, for example, I recommend before I go around that corner, I'm going to glance quickly at the UAV, just because then I know what, like right now, this is a perfect example. I knew that player was there. I checked the UAV and I knew he was there, so I didn't rush him, I waited patiently for him, and because I waited patiently, I ended up killing him, and I ended up going on a higher kill streak, and I ended up avoiding that death. And just simply looking at the UAV, in my opinion, it's probably the biggest tip that you need to start doing right now. So yeah, like I said before, it's going to also reveal where your teammates are and all that kind of stuff, and it's just extremely helpful. Now, another thing about seeing where your teammates are is this is going to let you know where the enemies are, because if you think about it, wherever the teammates are, the opposite side of the map to where your teammates are is where the enemies should be. So for example, right now in the gameplay, I can see that a lot of teammates are on the right hand side of the map, so that is why I'm going to the left hand side of the map, because that is where a lot of the enemies should be, and that is where I should be able to pick up a lot of kills. Anyway, that has been it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do recommend, if you do any of these mistakes I have mentioned, stop them immediately, or just listen to what I had to say in the video. And also, if you guys have any video suggestions that you would like me to cover, maybe you guys want to get a better accuracy, maybe you guys want to know a best class up for a certain weapon or something like that, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will go ahead and make the video as soon as possible. Anyway, once again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.